Somebody asked me about being a guest actor is like, and I said, well, it's like being an old hooker. You just you just try to go in and do your job. Hopefully, no one will hit you, and then they'll leave the money on the dresser, and you go home. I don't want any trouble. I just want to do my job. Pay me, and I'll go home.
Welcome to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's Conversations at Home program. I'm Jenelle Riley. If you're interested in programming like this from the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. And now it is my pleasure to have our panel of Emmy-nominated guest actors in a comedy. We have from Ted Lasso, James Lance.
Hello.
From Only Murders in the Building, Nathan Lane. And from Ted Lasso, Sam Richardson. Thank you all so much for being here and congratulations.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
This is an audience of your fellow SAG-AFTRA actors. So I actually always like to start by asking, how did you get your SAG card? And James, this might be weird for you because you've been working in England for so long. But I'm sure you have a SAG card at this point.
I don't think I do have one. Do I need to, do I get kicked out now?
Just muted.
I'll speak to somebody.
You have a SAG award, don't you, for the Ted Lasso ensemble?
Yeah, I got the award, but no card.
You look underneath the trophy. There's a card right under there.
If there is, okay, cool. I'll check it out. I'm not great with paperwork.
Have you ever shot anything that's shot in America?
I have not shot anything in America. No.
Wow, we're going to look into this. We might have to kick you off this panel.
Yeah, sorry. I hear it's great.
Then can I ask as a backup, what was your first job in this business? The first time you felt you could call yourself an actor?
Oh, wow. Well, my first professional job as an actor, I was 10 years old. And I was playing a 10-year-old. So, I got that covered. And I was doing a movie. Basically, I lived in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. I was into acting as a kid. And the BBC were doing a film in the village nearby. And I got the role. And that was it. It was cream buns every day at 4 p.m. I was in, sold, loved it. And I've been doing it ever since. So I've been acting for 37 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Nathan, for you?
Yeah. I honestly, I have no idea. I'm very old now, and it's so long ago. I want to say maybe it was for a commercial. I'm starting out in New York and as a struggling actor, and then some of the first jobs I did were just commercials. So I'm not sure how I got into SAG.
Am
I may not be in the union either.
Here you are.
It's somewhere. There was 100 years ago when I started. It was if you were you could join one union if you were a member of the other union. Honestly, I don't recall.
Am I misremembering, or did you do like a really famous commercial early on? I feel like there was a commercial that would always like pop up and it'd be like before they were famous.
Yeah. Well, I did a lot of commercials, but I think there was a NyQuil commercial that was sort of people were familiar with.
That's right. You were absolutely miserable in that commercial.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. That was my natural demeanor. Miserable, coughing and sneezing and stuff.
And going to your neighbor.
I was what?
You went to your neighbor, I think.
Yeah, that's right. I'm so glad we started with this. So we started with my NyQuil commercial.
It obviously had an impact on me.
Obviously, yes. I went to my neighbors and asked them to borrow a cup of NyQuil.
I remember this very vividly.
Yeah. Well, we've got that neighbor here. Bring him up.
Oh my God.
Sam, what about for you?
For me, my first the job that got me to SAG, I was living and working in Chicago. I was on the Second City main stage. In fact, I was in a touring company at that time, and it was just like this industrial sort of like education video for like an automotive parts maker. And I think it was like, they just need somebody to be a little wacky. And I was that person. I don't even know what the part was. And I don't know but I was so excited to be, I was like, this is the big time. This is more money than I'd made ever, which was like maybe $1,000 and something.
And don't they play this commercial to this day?
Oh no, that was a buyout. That commercial was for Art Van Furniture. That was non-union buyout, $600, and I think they still play that commercial. So SAG has come to my aid after that.
It's beautiful. Shows the value of SAG. We love that
You
stuff.
know, exactly.
I'm going to get a card.
So
We've
you're
got
all...
to get him a card.
What?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you
this
have
is
one.
all about today. Yes.
Exactly. Intervention.
The union.
Thanks,
So you're
guys.
all nominated for your great performances on my favorite shows. I would love to go back and find out how the roles came to each of you and what you sort of initially thought about this project. In some situations, like Sam, you had the benefit of Ted Lasso had been on a season, you knew it was good. And I believe the character was written for you.
Yes. So I've known Jason Sudeikis and Joe Kelly and Brendan Hunt for years and years. Joe Kelly and I created a show for Comedy Central some years back that Jason produced called Detroiters, starring me and my friend Tim Robinson. Whoop, whoop. So when Ted Lasso had come out, I watched the first season, and the character Sam Obasanye, I was like, he's a Nigerian soccer player, but like this really like warm, really just nice guy named Sam. And I like texted Joe, and I was like, oh, Joe, this may be a narcissist in me and an egotist, but is Sam like supposed to be me? And he's like, oh yeah, obviously, buddy. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. So the next season, when they were writing it, I got a text from Joe's like, hey, we wrote this character that we want you to play. It's this Ghanaian billionaire, and we think you'd like it's right up your alley. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, let me read the scripts first. But no, I was on board 1,000%.
The character based on you is like one of the nicest people on the show, but then they come to you with this horrible
yes
hair trigger billionaire.
Yes, so that was like an interesting thing to get to do, is to like play opposite like a character inspired by myself, to play opposite that and like to be like a horrible, mean person to him. It was like a therapy session, I think.
That's right, because all your scenes are with the character Sam.
All my scenes are with Sam.
Didn't the actor who plays Sam just learn that his character was based on you recently?
I think he'd known that. They gave him the prep before I got there, so that he gave it the proper deference. No, I think he'd found that out like after the first season. It's like before, but I think before I'd gotten there for the second.
That is awesome. James, what about for you? You were with Ted Lasso from the very start. I mean, did you have any idea how big and beloved Trent Crimm, the Independent, would become?
No, I didn't have any idea. The script arrived, the pilot arrived, my manager sent it to me and said, have a look, maybe the role of Higgins, actually. That's not a spoiler, obviously, because you've seen it. And I read it, and I thought, I'm not going to get Higgins. That's not going to happen. I just knew it. But there was this character called Trent Crimm, and just the name, there's an energy in that name. I just loved that name so much. And I said to my manager, would you mention to them that I would love to play that role? I thought it was just going to be even half a day. Because it was just one scene, and when he calls Ted out and asks us if it's a joke, what he's up to, and then it turned into what it's turning into. It's amazing.
Wow, it's so interesting to me that as an actor, that's what you responded to, even though you knew Higgins was probably a bigger part.
Yeah, Yeah, I did. It was just you just get a feeling sometimes, when you read it, and there was something about that Trent Krim that I wanted to play.
Nathan, for you, I mean, you're obviously working with this amazing cast, Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez, just to name some of them. Did they sort of bring this idea to, I mean, I'm guessing you didn't audition.
No, I didn't. I heard about the show. I knew, I've known both Marty and Steve for a long time, and then they offered me the role. I didn't read anything, so I had no idea what it would be. But just based on what I had heard, I assumed it was just going to be an out and out comedy. And then as we got closer to doing it, it was explained that the character appears to be one thing and then turns out to be a much darker character, and that he had a deaf son, and that there would be certain scenes in American Sign Language. So it became an interesting challenge as well. That's maybe one of the interesting things about the show is I think a lot of people expected it to just be an out and out comedy. And then it's this interesting blend of mystery and comedy and this exploration of getting older and loneliness and how we don't really know the people who live in our apartment buildings, our neighbors. And it's such an interesting balance. And so, like my character, it's much more than it at first appears to be.
So you literally didn't know what you were signing up for when you took this part on.
Well, I knew it wasn't a fly-by-night organization. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and I mean, I knew it would be something special, and it turned out to be that. I just thought, well, I get to hang out with Marty and Steve, and it'll just be fun, and then it was a lovely sort of acting challenge as well.
Did you have to learn any new skills? Did you have to learn American Sign Language? And
I only had 6 weeks, so it was only those scenes where I had to was speaking with my son, and so to become fluent, it would take a year. It's a beautiful language, and so that was a little nerve-wracking. I had a wonderful coach, Doug Ridloff, who interpreted these scenes and then coached me in them. And then, of course, this wonderful young actor, James Caverly, who played Theo, my son, was incredibly supportive and very, very helpful in all those scenes. So yes, I quickly learn a little bit of American Sign Language.
Did James or Sam, did either of you have to undertake any special research for these characters? James, you're a very believable reporter, I have to say. My brethren all respect and admire Trent Krim. So.
Wow. Oh, that's great. Thanks. Yeah, thank you. I spoke to a few writers and a few sports journalists, and and dug around. I mean, the YouTube is a gift for an actor, that's for sure. I can't remember what we did before that. I guess it was the library. I spoke to a few people, and had a feeling. My wife is also an investigative journalist, so she's yeah. So I talked to her quite a bit about it too.
How does she feel that you're so acclaimed for playing a journalist? She decided to do a commercial and won an Oscar.
Say that again, sorry?
It'd be like if she decided to do a commercial in her spare time and got an Oscar nomination.
Yeah. She's the biggest fan of this show. So, she's just delighted I'm in it, to be honest. Yeah.
Sam, what about for you to play a Ghanaian billionaire?
I had to live life as a billionaire for maybe a couple of weeks just to sort of get the feel of it, helicopters and limousines. I think really what the hardest part was, which is like, also I had like a little leg up on it, to be Ghanaian, like with a full accent. And what I was trying to do was like not just do that, because my mother's Ghanaian, so my mother's side of the family is all Ghanaian, so I know the accent. You know, I hear it. I'm the one in my family who doesn't have that. I'm the only one in my family on that side of the family who doesn't speak Twi, which is the tribal language that we speak, or they speak, and I don't. But to kind of get that accent, what I was trying to do was like make that accent also have like a little bit of an affected sort of English accent to it. So I was like trying to do these two things, and then on top of that, Toheeb is Nigerian. He's speaking a Nigerian accent, which is different from a Ghanaian accent, and he's has an English accent. So like between things where I'm in my American accent, he's in his English. Then we action like he's Ghanaian, I'm Ghanaian, he's Nigerian, and like to have all that in your ear while you're trying to do while you're trying to like play the scene, but then like forget about the accent and like just have it be your voice and you know and like also having him sort of like put on these airs to like play the game of Sweet Honey to like try and entice Sam to come play for him. It was a constant like sort of check-in with myself to not, because when I watch shows and listen to and movies, I'll catch an accent. I'm like, that's an Australian. That guy's Australian. I know it is. Like, yeah. It's like water, and I'm like, no, that's not how we say it. That's not how we say it. So you're faking. So like that.
Well, can I just say that I not only did I think it was a great accent, I didn't even know it was you when I watched the show. It was only after the fact that I went, oh, that's the actor from Veep. And it seemed like a totally different human being and a totally believable accent. I thought, they had just brought someone in from that country. It was so just, just for the record.
Wow.
Thank you
that's
so
what I
much.
thought. Yeah.
But the record reflects that legend Nathan Lane.
I heard it. I heard it.
This is where we learned that James has been faking his British accent this whole time. I knew it.
Yeah.
And I thought James was an actual journalist they brought in. I did not even know he was an actor. It was so believable.
Speaking of challenges, I would actually love to know, Nathan, what was the biggest challenge of playing this part? It sounds like there was a few, but I'm also curious if just not laughing sometimes was a struggle.
Well, any scene with Marty Short is a challenge because he's, even if it's a serious scene, he will make you laugh. And it's just a great group. I mean, it starts at the top with Marty and Steve and Selena Gomez and there's a showrunner, John Hoffman, who co-created the show with Steve, and he makes it a very fun and supportive place to work. You feel you can try anything, and there were some delicate scenes. A scene with the young boy who's playing young Theo, a deaf child, and it was a very intense scene, and we really spent a lot of time on it, and we changed a few things while we were working on it, and improvised a little something with the boy, and to help set up what's about to happen, and so it's it is because of everyone involved, and I think the mood that they've set is we're here to do good work, but also to have fun, to enjoy ourselves, because certainly Marty and Steve don't have anything to prove. It is about just as Marty likes to say, the hang. and trying to do good work and have a good time.
Mm-hmm. James, what about for you? What's the biggest challenge of playing Trent Crimm, other than people constantly coming up and wanting you to say his lines?
Biggest challenge is not getting upstaged by my hair, I think.
You lose sometimes, I have to say.
I lose. The thing is,
hair.
they think it's a double act. So I have to let them know there's more to it than that. No, what's the biggest challenge? The biggest challenge. I mean, it's quite a long shoot. That's what I would say. It's quite a long shoot, so I sort of need to stay focused and present for quite a few months. And just I quite like it when we wrap, because it's it's sort of as long as the day has gone well, then there's a feeling that we're sneaking in some good stuff, and I like that feeling of just getting stuff in the can and then stepping away. It's like I've kind of likened doing a scene with Jason Sudeikis a little bit like stepping onto the court and playing tennis with Roger Federer. There is an element of just wanting to get that ball. I haven't played tennis with Roger Federer, by the way, but I would imagine there'd be, yeah, I hear he's pretty good. That you just want to get that ball back, and so there's a level to this that I adore. There's also it's also I quite like stepping away from it as well. Does that make sense?
I'm noticing, so you didn't want Higgins, you wanted Trent Krim, and you like stepping away from it. So I'm noticing you don't want to work that much.
Yeah, maybe I don't want that SAG card after all.
Well, sorry, we're going to make you.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love working. I adore it. I mean, it's the luckiest thing in the world as an actor to be working. I love it. But I quite like stepping away as well.
I mean, you're all such scene stealers in general, but there is something to be said for making, a big impact in, short with less screen time. I'm sort of curious if you're naturally attracted to those roles or if there's a secret to it. I've heard so many actors say that like coming into a show and doing like 2 lines is sometimes harder than being a regular, because a regular, your character is established and you feel like you fit in. And how do you sort of, deal with that and still make such an impact with your character?
Nathan?
Everyone looks at Nathan.
I've just never had a series that went beyond 13 episodes. So I've spent more time as a guest actor. It's tricky being a guest actor. There's an established thing on the set and a family and that you're becoming a part of for a little while, and so it's just. I was asked this question. Somebody asked me about what being a guest actor is like, and I said, well, it's like being an old hooker. You just try to go in and do your job. Hopefully no one will hit you, and then they'll leave the money on the dresser and you go home. I don't want any trouble. I just want to do my job. Pay me and I'll go home. It really depends on the show, and what the vibe is like, and certainly on this show, it's a great vibe, and I'm doing stuff on the Gilded Age, and that's like being part of a great, New York theatrical repertory company where, you're just running into either old friends or people whose work you've loved from afar. And so that's been great fun. But, I think it's, you're trying to fit in. It's like dating, you try to fit in and hope they like you, hope they like what you're doing, and come in, with, hopefully ideas and enthusiasm, and because it's you're working long hours and all of that.
Yeah,
I mean, Sam, you've run your own show where you had to bring in guest stars, so you know what it's like probably from both sides.
Yes, absolutely. Like, because it's so true. Like, as a guest actor, you are coming in as just that, like, as a guest. So you're trying to match the tone of whatever it is, because like they've already established it. You didn't have a hand in like establishing what that tone is and like what that sort of fabric of the show or whatever it is, comedic or like whatever tone. So like to come in and to sort of pick up that ball and then match that, but also like stand out enough where there's a reason why you're there as the guest, and like not tip too much that you're going to be there for so long or whatever. It's a challenge, but sometimes most times fun, sometimes disaster. I always feel the worst for co-stars who come in, because then they like you said, like with that like 2 lines in a scene, you're just sitting there like trying to play double dutch, like, would you like your coffee, sir? No. And it's like, not good, you know, like you like to like come in and not do too much, but then to do just enough that matches the rest of like the scene. It's a challenge, but also really fun. But like, you know, also when casting on the other side of like running a show, to like sort of like see who fits in that, or like to appreciate somebody's work and then like know that they're going to come and like bring exactly what you're looking for on the page, but also to like let go of your previous conception of what the thing was, because you know that this person's going to come and bring their art to it, is it's self-rewarding. But then on the other side of that, to like come in as a guest, it's like, you know that they brought you there for a reason, so you don't want to just, you know what I mean, go below the radar. You wanna like show up as yourself and to add to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, when I did a series for Showtime, and I which I was a regular, and I used to love when a guest actor came in, and you want someone to have the confidence to, you know, if someone comes in and you go, oh, you can relax. It's not going to be, you know, you're not dealing with someone's ego, and they know what they're doing. A professional, they know what they're doing, and they come in and it's always, that makes it a pleasure to have, you know, guest actors and, you know, usually, you know, seasoned actors who know how to do this.
And James, it's probably different for you because you have been with the show from the beginning, and you've been in a lot of episodes. So, but as you mentioned, when you signed on, you really didn't know what Trent would become. Did you know that in season 1, you know, episode 3, Trent would figure prominently and going to spending the day?
No, I didn't know that at all. So that was a you know, a lovely surprise. I was just thinking about the previous question, what these guys are saying as well. One of the things that I feel is a little bit sort of nerve-wracking as a guest actor is when you come in and you might just have a little twist on how you want to, you know, deliver it or something, but you're with all these guys that are kind of like a seasoned family, and you're thinking, ooh, do I you know, throw this one out there? Because that sometimes I find a little nerve-wracking. Does that make any sense? You know, if you just want to do something you think is going to be particularly funny, and of course it could just completely hit the floor, and whether or not you're feeling brave enough to do it. And I sometimes find that as a guest actor.
How often would you say you go for it?
I go for it most of the time, I think. Yeah, most of the time. Not all the time.
Is there a lot of improvisation on Ted Lasso? Is there, or is it just maybe one take where they say, let's try something else? And
there is actually pretty specific with the script. There's always, you know, absolutely the script, but then you can have a little play here and there. Brendan Hunt in particular, and Jason, both, they riff a lot. A lot, which is really good. Yeah, and I do a little bit.
Both these shows are so in the zeitgeist with huge fan bases, and I'm sort of curious what it's like to interact with the fans. James, I know people always want you to come up and, you know, introduce yourself as Trent Crimm. And Nathan, are people fanatical about this show, or it like when they see you, what do they want to talk about? Is it still The Lion King to this day, or The Birdcage, or now have you noticed a shift to Only Murders in the Building?
Yes. I mean, the show, yes, has become very popular, and so it comes up. But The Birdcage always comes up, and some occasionally Modern Family.
Oh, right, of course.
Pepper Saltzman. Yes,
That's a great
comes up. But it's amazing how incredibly popular the show has become, and yes, I'm out in Long Island, and when the show first came on, I was just walking my dog, and a guy drove by in a truck and started screaming, "Hey, murders! Hey, murders!" That was my nickname. Hey, murders! I love murders. Bless him, was just a psychopath who was encouraging killing people, but he was, "Hey, murders!" So, it's lovely. It's lovely that people are enjoying it.
That's amazing.
And trying to solve the mystery,
I don't even try. I just enjoy seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
James and Sam, what about you? I know how, intense Ted Lasso fans can be.
Yeah, well, I used to get, "Hey, famous person," which I used to think, well, if I'm that, how come you don't know my name? But they never did. They just like, "Hey, famous person." Whereas that's now moved aside, and now it's Trent Crimm, the Independent, and he's much more famous than I am. So, or well known I am, which I rather like it. I love it. It's because when they see me, they really see me. Yeah, they love the show, and it's lovely. Yeah.
Sam, for you?
It's always interesting to see, like, as my career like kind of keeps on, like, I keep doing more things, like the groups of people who start to recognize me, because like from Detroiters, it used to be like, oh, I would be able to pick out a Detroiters fan in the streets, like, oh, comedy nerd, like super comedy, like, okay, oh yes, very nice. But then like, well, actually before that, Veep, right? So from Veep, there was like one group of people. It'd always be a black nerd at the Apple store would be like, "It's a split, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, great." But and then the comedy nerds for Detroiters, and like now there's like, then I did this movie called Tomorrow War, and all of a sudden, like a lot of bros are like, "Hey, man, that shit line when you're shooting the gun," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then now Ted Lasso, it's like now, if that was 30% of the population, now the entire 70 remaining are like, "Gun in, guy." So it's kind of interesting to see how that grows.
Before we go, since we have you here, I know that the actors would love to hear from you. What is one piece of advice you'd want to give to our base of working actors? It can be about anything that maybe you'd wish you'd known coming into this business.
Wow. Do you know, I wish that I want to jump in. When I was a kid, this is for the younger actors, okay? Maybe they don't have their SAG card yet, I'm not sure. But the little people, when I said I wanted to be an actor, everyone used to say to me, "Oh, you need something else. You should do something else. That's a difficult thing to do. La 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 la. You're going to need something to fall back on." And it made me kind of super determined to just go, no, I'm going to do this. But what I wish somebody had said to me was, "You can do this as well. Get something else going on as well as being keeping your dream alive to be an actor." I wish that I had been given that advice as opposed to one or the other when I was younger. That's it.
I love that.
Yeah. I would say when I used to teach and do improv, anybody would ask me like, how do you become a good improviser? And I would say just watch a lot of improv and watch a lot of comedy. But I think that's true for all like any sort of art like do it, I think you need to see it and like watch plays and watch shows and watch musicals and watch movies, absorb it, because it's like you can't be an illiterate author, so you need to have read books to be able to write books. And I think it's the same thing for acting.
Yeah. It's shocking to me how many times certain actors tell me like, oh, I don't watch TV. I don't go to movies. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Kids, they're not interested in what came before. The history of it all, whether it be the theater or film or television. I mean, that's, and certainly now they have such access with YouTube and looking back at things. So yes, you would say do your homework in that sense. Find out what you're getting involved in.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming famous. It's about the work and who came before you and influences and I guess I would also say, it's so obviously it's so competitive and difficult, but, writing, becoming, creating things for yourself, trying to write, get together with people and read plays, write plays, create your own company of actors and doing that is, I think, really healthy and keeps you focused and keeps your imagination going and instead of waiting around just to audition and waiting, as an actor you're so dependent on being cast, and so create your own things and your own work, and that also can lead to many other things.
And in the interest of appreciating our history, I want everyone to look up Nathan Lane's NyQuil commercial. I'm going to do it right now, probably.
Jesus,
I know it.
Are we really going back to that?
Huge impact on my childhood and a product that I believe in.
Can I tell you something, Nathan? In a high school, I did a production of The Man Who Came to Dinner, and I played your role. And it was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life, even still to this day. So like, I revere that every performance, but like that one, like I was taking cues from you when I was 16 and like younger than that. So like, it's truly incredible.
Oh, thank Sheridan Whiteside. Yes.
Sheridan Whiteside. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you. Thank you.
I also just have to add, Nathan Lane, I saw you on stage in The Producers. I think to this day, that's the funniest night I've ever had in theater. And you were just outrageously wonderful and hilarious and moving. And I think you're, so it's really nice to say that to you.
Oh, did you see it in London with Lee Evans?
I did. Yeah.
The great Lee Evans.
Oh my goodness, he was incredible as well. So funny. Such
a sweetheart, such a dear man. It was
great.
Yeah, that was all a last minute thing. They, I
came over.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Richard Dreyfuss, and then
I heard that story.
Things went haywire, and then I found myself there, and but it was
the talk of the town.
Oh, gee, but I wanted also not only to help, but it was just the notion of it was Lee Evans who I had worked with, and it turned out to be one of the best experiences doing it in London, and well, thank you. It's
great. It's lovely to say that to you because it was sensational, and Lee Evans is sensational.
Yeah.
And I've told you this before, but I've loved you since you did that sitcom with Mickey Rooney. I remember you from.
Well, you can pick them, Jenelle. You're gonna bring up that fucking thing
for the boys.
I thought I had destroyed those tapes.
One of the boys.
Yes, Mickey Rooney, American sweetheart.
You and Dana Carvey. I mean, okay.
Yeah. Well, we were young. I had to buy milk for the children. I just needed a job.
Okay, fine. I'll cite funny thing happened on the way to the forum.
Well, that's a good
Okay.
piece of material. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much on behalf of the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. Thank you for sharing your experiences, processes, and craft with our audience. Best of luck at the Emmys. It's so deserved, all of you. I so appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Great to meet you guys. Congratulations on great.
So good to see you too.